What's going on, all you dirt hungry mothers out there? I've been wanting to do a comparison between these two machines, these two loaders, for a while now. And I'm sure there's more than one of you asking, like, why am I comparing an outdated H model 994 against a 1200? Well, there's two reasons. The first being, back in the day when I first got on these, back in 2014, the H model 994, it was cutting edge. It was the second biggest mechanical drive loader available. That, along with the 1200. I'm not going to include the L2350 Latorno, or now, as it's known, the WE 2350, because Komatsu bought them out. But that's a totally different machine in a league of its own. So yeah, mechanical drive for this video. Second reason being, this is a two-parter. There's a method to my madness. There's a start to every story. This is the beginning. That's where we're going to start. And if you stay tuned, you'll see part two. Okay, so upon deciding I was going to do a comparison, I thought I might just humour myself and see if I could learn a little bit more about them. So do what everyone does, get on the internet, you know, because you never know what you're going to find. And to be honest, it didn't help. If you have a look at this spec sheet, there's not a great deal of difference between the two. Engine output, cylinders, capacity, torque delivery. In fact, the only thing I could really see on this spec sheet comparison that would really make a difference is the weight. As minute as it would be, you know, there's what, 25 ton, if that, of difference. Other than that, on paper, they look pretty much the same. Even dimensionally, unless you want to get the tape measure out and start measuring width, wheelbase, track, all that sort of thing. Okay, so we've got the 994H coming in at 195 ton. Look at that thing, like a hot rod. 4 stacks, that thing just looks mean. And the WA1200-6 coming in around 220 tons. Okay, so on the left we've got the H model 994, shot in 2023. I'm digging off a stockpile, off the ROM. It's gold, it's abrasive, it's resistant, it's very light, obviously being gold. Machine hours, she's getting on a fair bit, 60,000 hours, and yeah, we've got the average pass of about 25-30 ton. On the right, 1200-6, that was shot a lot earlier. This was actually probably my first couple of weeks on a 1200, so I was still very much getting used to the machine. I'm digging iron ore off another stockpile. It's really blasted well, really sort of feathery stuff, even for iron. The machine itself was fairly new. That's an estimate, roughly around 12,000 hours. I can't remember, it was that long ago. And like the listing suggests, it's, yeah, 50 odd, 60 ton. When I'm doing well, I pass. We're going to focus on the two differences you see between the machines. The first one being the agility, and you'll see that regardless of the massive experience gap, you know, we're talking nearly 10 years experience difference, the 994 definitely has got a better turning circle. It moves quicker, tighter, definitely a lot more agile than the 1200. I would like to just say quickly, I do apologise for the film quality in the H model. I was trialling a GoPro on my head, and yeah, although you can see a lot, I'm sorry, it's different, it's weird.
Sidecast, a bit of oversize there in the H model. Funny to watch, not something I would have done in my earlier years. It fits in the bucket, it went in the truck. One last thing I want to touch on is, again, just the difference between the two from the spec sheet to real life. The 994's got more torque on paper, but as we can see, the 1200 is just filling a bucket so much easier, just so much smoother. Let's let that one marinate.
Experience disregarded, I smashed that truck out a lot quicker with a 1200, even though I had near on 10 years less experience. I'm still going with this 994. It doesn't have the torque delivery that the 1200 does. It doesn't have that ease of fill factor, bucket fill factor that the 1200 has. It's quick, it's agile, but it's definitely, it feels physically lighter in the machine itself. It doesn't feel as heavy. And it's definitely not as tractable. You know, that extra 25 tonne, that's half a bucket in the 1200 cents, assuming I'm getting 50 tonne a bucket. Weight is traction, which the 1200 has, the 994 doesn't. That extra 25 tonne in the 1200, you do actually feel that is helping you get traction, as opposed to in the 994. It feels like a lighter machine. It feels, well, it is a lot more agile, but it feels lighter. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel its weight like the 1200 does at all. The 1200 does it easily. The 994, it is a little bit more work. I mean, yeah, I'm digging off a stockpile at the moment, but it's, as you can see, it's not the most well blasted material. I'm not getting the most full buckets, but at the same time, as you can see, it's really struggling to get what it's getting. It's probably got the smallest option bucket available due to it having a high reach boom on it. I don't know, some genius thought it was a good idea that they needed that to get over the side of a 793, but as you can see, I'm barely, well, I'm not even 3/4 lifting, you know, it doesn't need it. That being said, with the larger bucket that would enable you to get 40 tonne per pass, it would still struggle to fill the bucket. You know, I'm struggling to fill this small bucket, let alone if they put a bigger one on there. So when all's said and done, cheaping out on the bomb, not blowing shit up properly, you're gonna struggle. Some machines do it better than others, as we can see here. But in a nutshell, no manufacturer designs a machine to dig through bloody Land Cruiser rocks. Just bullshit oversize, you know. There's a compromise. You save money on bomb, but you're going to lose out on load times, which the 994 unfortunately here is proving. Alright, so as I mentioned, you saw the video for yourself. There's a lot of contributing factors between the two. Obviously material being the biggest one. The experience gap, there's 9 odd years, possibly almost 10 between the times that I've actually filmed these two clips. A lot of contributing factors, but I want to focus more on the key factors in between these two machines, which is the first one being weight. The 1200 is heavier, which is making a difference obviously. And also, well, torque, which we all saw the spec sheet. The 994 has more torque. So why does the 1200 fill its bucket easier? I put it down to gearing. The 994 is definitely, as we've seen, it's a quicker machine. It's moving in and out quicker. Travel speed is quicker, which leads me to believe it's geared higher. It's definitely a faster driving machine, you know, between point A and point B. Yes, they are designed to load trucks in one spot, but they do need them to be versatile, to be able to move from point A to B, from stockpile to stockpile, or into the pit if necessary. Otherwise, they just buy an excavator. So it's important. But the gearing difference between the two, again, a massive step, almost as much as the weight. The 994 in a drag race, we'll just say for namesake, they were lined up one and two. The 994 would win in a drag race. It's definitely quicker, it's faster, it's geared higher. But in terms of loading ability, the higher gearing in the 994, it goes against it, obviously, because it doesn't have that. It doesn't apply the torque as well as what the 1200 does. Another thing I want to add with the 1200, if you look at this button, powerful loading switch down on the left-hand side of the dash here, you flick that switch, say for instance you're digging an excavator bench and it's only 2.5, 3 meters, a small bench, and you want to fill. And obviously it's not an easy thing to be able to drive in, lock your boom in and drive forward. It's going to lift and crowd, and before you know it, you've only scooped up half a bucket. What this powerful loading switch actually does, as long as you're applying crowd motion to curl your bucket back, the crowd takes priority over the lift. It doesn't disengage the lift, it gives priority to the crowd. So it's applying just enough lift to give your front wheels traction, but it gives priority to the crowd so that you can continue to drive without the lift just getting away from you, like it would in a 994, in a Latorno. That little powerful loading switch, definitely it sets the 1200 apart from any other production loader I've ever been on. Okay, to finish up, there it is. My pick, the 1200. Don't get me wrong, they are both great machines, application dependent, you know. You don't want to go putting a 994 in the shit. A 1200 on the other hand, it doesn't really matter too much where you put them. They've just got the torque, they've got that weight, they've got that balance. You can put them wherever you want, and typically they will make you money. A 994, yes, they're a lot more agile, they turn a lot tighter. Great, put them in tight spots, they get around quick. They're a really good machine, low maintenance, I would say, in comparison to a 1200. 1200, you need to keep an eye on them, and all the reliefs, they need to be adjusted so that you're getting your continuous flow, your response, all that sort of thing, and your hydraulic. The 994, as you've seen, that thing's got 60,000 hours on it, and it's still going like a brand new machine. A 1200, yes, they do require a bit more upkeep, but as long as you can maintain them, they will continue to make you money wherever you put them. So yeah, anyway, to finish it all up, the 1200, clearly it's a torquier, better machine, hands down. Okay, to answer the question from the start, everybody's been asking, how does the 1200 stack up against the new 995 or vice versa? I've always asked. My question actually was, how does the 995 go in comparison to the 1200? Seeing as the 1200 is actually the benchmark. And you're just going to have to wait and see, unfortunately.